Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Attention Engineer. I'm Laura Kidd, aka Penfriend, a solo artist, producer and songwriter living in Bristol and beaming this episode to you from my home studio, The Launchpad. In this noisy world, the gift of someone's attention is priceless, so thank you for tuning in. This podcast is supported by Arts Council England and the National Lottery and powered by the Correspondent Club. I'll tell you more about that later. Mark Chadwick has been the lead singer in The Levellers since 1066, and the rest is history. That's what Mark emailed back when I asked him what he wanted me to say in this intro. I did a bit more digging, and I have some more facts for you. British folk rock band The Levellers were formed in Brighton in 1988, taking their name from the Levellers political movement. Their members are Mark Chadwick, Jeremy Cunningham, Charlie Heather, John Savink, Simon Friend and Matt Savage. Mark's birthday is on the 23rd of June, his musical hero is Hank Marvin, and his favourite Levellers show was the one where Hank Marvin joined in. I don't know if any of this is true. What I do know is that I first met Mark in 2014 when I was invited to support the Levellers on tour around Europe and the UK. It was great. It was so exciting. The band and their crew are so welcoming to other musicians. I just had the best time and we've stayed in touch ever since. So when I was making a list of dream guests for this podcast last year, Mark had pride of place on that piece of paper. This conversation took place on the 3rd of November 2019 in Mark's kitchen. I had just started a month of touring with comedian Robin Ince, so we played Shore and by Sea on the Saturday night, and I stopped off for a couple of hours before heading home to Bristol on Sunday morning. Luckily for me, Mark had just got a gorgeous Vizsla puppy called Phoenix, so I was really pleased to get to go and say hi to her, as well as to Mark's human family. Thanks for having me round. I would love to know, how would you introduce yourself in different ways? So to a stranger at a party, to a fellow artist or musician, and also how do your family describe you to their friends? And are they the same thing or wildly different?
That's really interesting. Look, so what's the first one, stranger at a party?
Yeah.
I'll just introduce myself, Mark, and they say, oh, what do you do? And I normally say, I'm a musician. And they say, and then that's when it starts getting awkward.
So they normally go, oh, and then walk away.
Yeah. Oh, right, yeah. Well, I suppose you're a model and a DJ as well. It's like, no, I'm a musician. And then they go, oh, so what sort of thing? It's kind of it's a broad brush, isn't it? Yeah. Then, depending on where I am, you might have heard of me. I might do that.
Do you have to feel brave to do that? Because I'm not saying that they wouldn't have heard of you, but
you have to be careful. You have to look at the person in the demographic of the person you're talking to, and you go, there's a chance. Yeah. So I go, it's Mark. Yeah, I'm Mark from the Levellers. Oh yeah. Great, that's done. Perfect. Then instead of me going, I'm a musician. I write songs. I'm a songwriter. Mm-hmm. I'm in a band. I've been doing it for like 30 years. Yeah. Then it's like, give us a clue, isn't it? Or like that, trying to name the job thing, and then they have to guess. And it's like, so it's easy to get to the name of the band, but without sounding big-headed, or selling it or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So it's awkward. It is awkward.
It's really awkward.
It's awkward. So
it's more awkward when no one's heard of you,
Mark.
But
I've that's really. But I like that when that does happen. They go, nah. I go, oh, well, it's a band, we've been going for 30 years. We've done stuff. We do stuff. We're still going. Mm-hmm. And I like that. And they go, okay, that's interesting. But most people don't like talking to other people about the other people anyway, because they like talking about themselves.
Oh, yes.
Which, I'm more used to that than anything else. Yeah. It's like, oh, right, you're in a band. Brilliant. The Levellers. Yeah, cool. I really love them. Anyway.
Totally. Yeah. I prefer that, actually.
Yeah, well, I've come to. Well, you like talking about yourself or you don't. Yeah. And I don't particularly. Right. But I'm not in this situation. It's fine.
This could be a short interview about dogs.
This is a given. It's all right.
So, how do your family describe you to other people?
I think it depends. I think that they just describe he's in the band. Well, I know my dad goes around everywhere. Anyone that listen will go, lovely. Yes, my boy. Yeah, and that's fine. That's great.
Yeah.
And he enjoys doing that. And that's great.
Do you think that's become easier with the success of the band? So before, I don't know if parents necessarily get what this is if it hasn't achieved anything yet.
Yeah, and my dad was unaware. He didn't really understand pop music. He understood music, and he understood that I was obsessed with it from a really early age. And he could see that. He could see that it was the only thing I cared about.
Yeah,
was essentially music and bands and all music really. And he was like, okay. So when I went into it, I was working at the same time when I first started. He was supportive of it, and then it seemed to happen really relatively quickly. So he was like, oh, someone down to work went to see you the other night, and all that sort of stuff. So he was like, yeah, I went, yeah. Well, it does happen, They didn't come to many gigs particularly, a few, but, not all the time. They didn't become obsessive or anything like that. They were just aware that he was doing okay. But then his best friend, when we were growing up, his best friend's son was a musician as well. He became really famous, so who I grew up with. And so it became quite a normal thing for them. It was like, oh, yeah, what's Graham up to? Yeah, well, what's Mark up to? Yeah. They're doing really well. They're both in the charts.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. It's like, that was quite weird and unique.
Yeah.
I'd have thought. It doesn't often happen. Yeah, it was, yeah.
Well, it's good that you've had support, though, from your family.
Yeah, oh, no, I've always had support, yeah.
Because there's a lot to be said about not, you don't write songs to impress your parents or to be okay with your parents or anything. Like,
certainly
one doesn't
not.
do that.
No.
But if they can not be totally against it, that's helpful, isn't it?
It's ironic because it works the other way around these days, isn't it? It's like, oh, yeah, get out there.
Oh, with the parents?
Yeah, you're going to Bristol. Get out there. You're brilliant, I just heard you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's totally changed. It's like, really, hasn't it? It was like, why are you doing that?
But that's celebrity culture more than
it is celebrity culture, yeah, exactly. But, the bands, music, that's celebrity. Yeah. As far as certain people are concerned.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is nuts.
It is nuts. The whole thing's nuts, though. What is your purpose in life? And how did you figure that out?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, I do think it is essentially to be an entertainer. It is. An entertainer, every entertainer has his edge, right? Has what they give as an entertainment. He's an entertainer. But yeah, my entertainment is to entertain and inform, without preaching or anything, or without boring. Just to sort of like discuss subjects that might be more thorny than most, or certainly wouldn't occur to most people who are sitting down trying to write a pop song to actually go, what if I jemmy this idea into this concept? But really, truthfully, entertain.
So what do you define entertainment as?
And people go, it's something where people are transformed, transported, like whether they listen to the music on their own or with friends or whatever, or wherever, or watching it live, and they're transported for however long they're transported, and thoroughly entertained and removed from the universe that they're in briefly into mine.
It's funny because when someone says entertain, for some reason my mind goes to like someone dancing around on a stage with a top hat and a cane and trying to make you smile. But entertainment doesn't have to make you really
book's
happy.
Entertaining, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Anything's entertaining. Like looking out the window, looking at that squirrel, that's entertainment. It's anything that takes you out of yourself. Yeah. For however long it is an entertainment. So and that's why I'm an entertainer. With the justification, just being an entertainer, right? A song and dance man, right? Yeah, I think it's a noble art form, but I would find it shallow. I wouldn't quite live with myself. And I was just thinking about this earlier, and I was thinking about some bands that have been going as long as I have, that haven't said anything.
Yeah. That's a long time to not say anything.
Yeah, that's a long time not to say anything. They might have said something once about something, sort of like inane and teenagey, and yet they're still around doing it. And I'm like, what? How can you be 50 and walk around singing that song that means nothing? That must really hurt you. Whereas I can go out on a stage and sing a song that I wrote when I was 17, 18. And it's more important now than it was then. Yeah. So therefore, I've got a lucky get out clause. But that's because we set up as a band initially. It was to always matter. So actually write things that actually did concern people, that weren't just sha-da-da-da-da-da, look at us.
Yeah, for 30 years. And again and again.
And again and again and again. There's lots of money and girls and drugs.
And the thing is, I get why people keep doing it if they have the audiences, because the audiences are obviously getting something from
exactly.
that.
And if they're uniquely talented, wow, what an incredible voice, or incredible performer that person is, that a unique performer, like, there's nothing like that, then that's different. That's, your Elton Johns, your Rod Stewart's, or whatever, people like, they just go, wow, that's just mind-blowingly good. That person's got. And also they've got like a history, a life. You're watching a life there. You're watching a piece of living, breathing history up there. That's great. I love all that.
But saying stuff that means something is good, isn't
it? Yeah, it is. It is. I think so. I think having some that has carried weight and does still carry weight if people listen.
In the Levellers, you write lyrics and you write songs,
Or,
but other people do as well.
To be honest, over the years, I'm not principal songwriter, and there isn't one as such. We all write together. Jeremy writes a lot of lyrics, and Simon writes whole songs, and I write whole songs. And Simon writes songs using Jeremy lyrics, and I write songs using Jeremy lyrics. And so it's kind of mixed up. So there isn't, in a really good way. It's sort of like it's hard to tell sometimes, and I like that. But
that's really interesting, because I think people often assume that the person who's singing most is writing all the words. And if they were, that's a big responsibility for them to, if it's a real band as yours is, and it's a really equal footing for everybody, then it's a big responsibility to speak for the group, isn't it? And so there must be discussions about, well, what do we feel about, what do the Levellers feel about this, and what do we want to say?
It can be very sort of like, well, it's interesting. They either get it or they don't, the band. With songs that I write might be more obtuse, say. Less so sometimes. And it's like, okay, and if they're completely confused by what it is, what it's about, then I've probably got it wrong.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you ever just explain it, though? Or do they ask you to explain?
No.
Interesting.
No, they don't.
Okay.
They don't. You might mention what it's about. Simon's really good at talking about what his songs are about. But I tend to not write. I don't always write a song about one particular subject. It might appear to be about one, but it's about another at the same time. And I like doing that, I think, because it's full of metaphor. I like writing with metaphor. I like writing dualities in music. I think it gives a listener more to listen to. Yeah.
Whether they're aware of it or not.
Whether they're aware or not. And I think, people like John Lennon used to do it a lot, and Neil Young, people I respect as writers, lyricists do it. Bob Dylan, other great lyricists have done it. It's a good way of writing. It's like, it's about this. Oh no, it's not, is it? It's about that. That's good.
And do the songs reveal themselves to you later, or are you always aware? Are you like the architect of the song?
The best thing is, like, I can sing a song that's been written by Simon, and suddenly it won't hit me what it was about till 20 years later. I'll be like, oh.
You could have just asked him, couldn't you?
I could have just asked him, but I was singing it. But the relevancy of it suddenly becomes really relevant. It suddenly becomes really angularly noticeable to my mind. And I go, wow, that I totally get now. I didn't. It was a good lyric before, and I was happy to sing it, and I was able to emote it because I thought I knew what it was about. But then suddenly, bang, I know what this is about. And that can happen with my own lyrics too, which is also interesting.
Well, do you think it's about personal development, though? So you get to a point in your life where those lyrics will resonate more strongly? And so similarly with the audience as well?
I think so. And if you're writing well and you're writing properly, you are writing slightly outside of yourself and beyond yourself. If you otherwise, if you're writing within yourself completely, then you're probably writing to a formula that you understand, and you're probably writing to an audience you're trying to preach to or patronise. So you're not, even if you're unconsciously doing that, you're unconsciously doing it. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
If you're doing that. If you're not somehow free-falling and free-thinking, then you're not probably writing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the case.
So how do you start songs then?
I start with the music. Always have. Always start with the music. Always start with the guitar, and found something that I like. It does something. It does something I haven't heard before, to my mind. And then just start singing.
So does melody come first, or do you have pages of lyrics ready?
I don't know. I might have lyrics lying about, but I don't write a song. Don't start a song with a lyric in mind. I'll start singing nonsense or whatever comes out of my mouth that feels like goes with this, what this melody is evoking, sort of thing. And it's like wherever it goes, I don't know, but I'll start singing the words, and I'll probably do that for about, if I've got most of it there, 5-10 minutes, record it, and then stop for a second, have a listen back with a pen and paper, and write out what I think are the key words I'm coming out with.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh yeah, that reminds me of this idea that I've had, and so it's in the back of my mind, and I've written it. Some of it will be actually consciously completely there, and that's really good when that happens. That happens a fair amount of time. I go, wow, that's what I wanted to say without me even knowing I wanted to say it. That's what I'm talking about, the free-falling thing, free writing, you call it in creative writing lessons, I think they call it that. I don't know, but that sort of thing, and then fill it in to make it make sense, and then I'm screwed generally at that point, because then I've got first person specific, second person. It's like, where's that? Oh God, I've got to sort out the grammar. It's like,
the key to songwriting.
I'm all over the place here with references and who's talking and stuff, and then I have to go through that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. How interesting.
Yeah.
I do things in a really similar way. So this is why I want to do this podcast, to find out if I'm doing it right, but I'm really interested to know how people...
Way, is there? I don't know.
Well, of course not, but people who I respect, like I've been listening to your music since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I first heard the Levelers on a Shine CD in the 90s.
Well, and then I came to... and
then I came to see you at V99 with my sister. And so I think it was my first festival ever. Yeah. And so ever since then, it's like, I just think... I mean, now I don't know who wrote the melodies, because I just, as a kid, I assumed it was you. Yeah. But it's obviously the band as a whole, just some of the best melodies and the best lyrics and the most insightful songs I've ever heard. So, to hear that you write in this sort of bonkers way that I sometimes write in is really cool. So I think I'm doing all right.
It's the only way to get to what you're honestly trying to get to without relying on a formula.
Yeah.
Without having, and if you're doing something to a formula, then it's a formula, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's dead.
Yeah.
It's dead.
But every song needs a germ of an idea, doesn't it? It needs to come from somewhere.
And I'm very rare, and I love it when it happens, right? I love it when it happens when a whole idea for a song comes to me, and I go, wow, I'm going to write that song. That doesn't happen very often, right? When the lyric is there, right? That's great. Just a snatch of conversation or something. I go, that's it. That's a song, or that's the song. That's brilliant. And I write that down and write that song. That's great. That doesn't happen very often because it's too rare.
Do you think that comes from a flow state that you can get into? If you're writing a lot, and then suddenly something seems really easy.
The more you write, the better it gets. If you step off the gas, and you have done. I've stepped off the gas for like a year or so. Not written a thing for a year and a half at times. But that was a long time ago. I stopped that. I love writing. I really enjoy it. When I do solo albums, just in order to fill in the time when I'm not doing stuff with the boys. So yeah. Now
you've got 2 solo albums out, right?
Yeah.
Is there a third on the way?
There's going to be. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, there is going to be. I was going to start it next week, but I've got this dog now.
They do take up a lot of time.
It's going to for a bit, yeah.
You can't use it as an excuse not to make your album.
No, it's not an excuse. No, it's definitely not. No, I've got all the time in the world, to be honest. You know what I mean? Well, you say it's one of those illusions that we all have suffer under. I've got all the time in the world. Oh, I'm dead. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, but I will be doing it.
Good.
But yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, I like doing it. It's good. And this day and age, I do what I like. It doesn't matter. No one cares.
But they don't, and they do, though, don't they?
Yeah.
Like, there's no pressure to do anything at all, probably. No one has to make any art at all.
No, and that's increasingly the case. And it's obvious.
There's other stuff around.
There's other stuff. I mean, there's so much other stuff. There's something on the radio, on like Radio 4 program that lets you know what's coming in the week. And it was like, this artist, and I was like, we don't need another one of you.
No.
We just don't need you.
No.
The world's got at least 60 billion of you doing what you're doing. And I can't believe you're on the radio doing it.
Yeah.
Again, because you don't deserve it, because you're not an actual artist. You can sing nice. I like you singing, but I can go down the street and find someone who can sing as good as you.
Yeah.
Just don't know they can do it. But what are you singing about? Nothing. What's the music about? The same. Stop it! Get off my radar. I got really annoyed. It's like, no, you're not giving any of yourself away. to the world that the world needs to hear. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a horrible thing to have to be an artist. I genuinely do. I think it's and I'm not crying out for it. It's like, it's just what happens to people that have got that way inclined, and they have to do it, and they have to live a very extraordinary life to do it. And it's not just to go on stage and sing a song about a boy-girl thing with a basic rhythm and blues progression behind you and whatever. Don't care.
I was listening to Viv Albertine being interviewed on the Loud and Quiet podcast yesterday on one of my very long drives between my house and a gig, which I do all the time. And she was talking about how an artist's life is an uncomfortable life. Yeah,
it is, yeah. Yeah, it's a really uncomfortable life because you're living in a compromise. Always, because really, it's an extremist's life. It's an extremist life, and it's an extreme personality to do it. To get on stage and actually say what you really think about the world and your place in it, it's sticking your head above the parapets. And to make people want to listen to you, to identify with you, then you really have to grab them by the throat. And to do that, you have to really put yourself out there and express yourself, and therefore, and fail. Fail a lot of the time, and fail awfully, and that is emotionally damaging, and therefore part of the process as well.
Yeah, that's where songs come from, though, right?
Exactly. It's all part of the process. And it's scary being one. Sometimes I'm like, wow.
I'm glad to hear that, because when I think of people who I think are brilliant at what they do and also are successful, I just think, they must have got over that then. They must have got over that terror
if anything gets older.
And bitterness and, listening to the radio and hating everything and all that.
No. I mean, you wake up with fresh ears every day, don't you? It's like when you find something good and exciting and innovating and genius, you love it. I just fall so in love with it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
it's
my
such
thing.
A relief, isn't it, when something's
such
good?
A relief. It's such a relief. I'm like, oh my God. It's still happening.
Yeah.
But it's harder to find because there is so much more available. Yeah. And since the demise of the critic, right? And I used to hate the critic when we were starting out, but I miss them now.
Well, there's no music press to speak of, is there?
The trained ear, the professional, arsehole was a professional. At least. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They were paid to have an opinion, and they didn't have to like everything, and they didn't. And if they didn't like me, I hated them. But so did my fans. They hated them too. So it's good.
At least they knew what they were talking about to some extent, whether they liked you or not.
And so they'd have the argument, the debate. And so if something was just bland, right, it would not have survived. No. It wouldn't have made the cut of any floor of any music journalism.
Yeah.
So it's just bland. Sorry, we're not. What's that? That's not even. We're not. It's just boring. It's just boring and bland. We're not interested. But if we like, we hate this. That's not boring or bland, is it?
Yeah.
We hate this. It's a reaction, and you don't get that anymore because everyone just goes on their blogs or whatever. I love this guy. Love these guys. Love these guys. Oh yeah. Love. Oh yeah. Woo, love us. Yeah, big them up. It's like, no, you don't. You shouldn't.
No.
You shouldn't. You should be able to critique.
Yeah.
And that's gone, and I miss that. And it was acerbic, and it was brilliant, and it was often funny.
I miss it too, because I wanted to be written about in those things, and they don't exist now.
Exactly. It's like, you've done this art, and it's touching certain people, but what does it mean?
Yeah.
It's no longer part of the debate.
No.
And that is a damn shame.
There is no debate.
There is no debate.
Don't
It
exist.
used to be the debate. And I've watched that demise. And people go, that's great. We don't have to suffer under that anymore. We can just... No. You're missing the point here.
I love that, peer recommendations are so important now. Yeah. But that could have existed alongside a more sort of...
It did anyway.
Official... Well,
peer recommendation always exists. It's called word of mouth. It was like, God, you've got to get on this band. They're brilliant. Yeah. That was it. That was peer recommendation.
Yeah, done.
And that's always existed. No, you're right, gatekeepers. And it's a terrible thing, but I miss it. In the art world.
I didn't know I would miss it, but I do.
I was pretty sure I wouldn't, but I really do now, because I'm like, I haven't got a respected person out there who's literally not a musician, but loves music, loves it, like totally passionate about, we see people. You still get it with people who talk about film, like Mark Cornell, people about film. It's like, love this film, hate this film, brilliant. Well, I want to know about this film.
Just critical analysis.
Critical analysis.
Like intelligent.
It would be brilliant. And I was like, God, have you heard the new Levellers record? It is so trite. It is so bad. They really are doing this by numbers. They really don't care anymore. You can hear the victim. They've just given up all hope. They've been kicked into the dirt. This is the worst thing the Levellers could have done. Or, transversely, the actual truth of the matter is the new record is amazing. Wow, the Levellers. Who'd have thought it? 30 years in the wilderness, and they're back with a vengeance, telling the truth like it can only be told by these heroes of the music business. Yeah. That's missing. That's missing. That's missing.
That is missing, but we've got it.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really do think it was valid. It was valid.
Mm-hmm. I saw Brett Anderson do a talk the other day in Yeovil, and he was talking about that as well, about how the music press not existing anymore has such a massive effect, obviously, on younger artists. And he's talking about how hard it is for art to come from the fringes now, from people who have something to say, who aren't funded by their parents.
I completely agree.
I used to have a massive chip on my shoulder about anyone who was funded by their parents because I've never been. Now I'm a lot more calm about it because I realise that those people, those artists, it's not their fault their parents helped them. That's nice. But also there needs to be more space for voices of people who have something to say and are really fighting to get that message out.
Completely
and that's
agree.
harder now that you can't make money from touring or selling music.
I mean, it's just going to end up being really depressing, this conversation.
Probably.
We're not careful
I hope
here.
so.
Because that is true. And I've been going on about that for 10 years now.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, all well and good, but literally only those that can afford it are going to be able to do it, and that is not fair at any point. Is that fair? I mean, the Levellers would not have existed at all, or any of our peers at the time would have existed. We weren't funded by anybody apart from ourselves because there was money to be got. Mm-hmm. If you worked hard, you could get it. Mm-hmm. And now there isn't. There is. Somewhere out there are artists doing incredibly well.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
I don't know how either. So how do you feel that's changed? So for your band in the last 31 years?
It was like a century ago. It's like, it is incredible. It's, the one thing that I have really, really noticed is that art doesn't seem to matter so much anymore. Mm-hmm. Art doesn't matter so much. It did. It was really valuable. You used to hang your style on the films you liked, and the music you listened to, and the paintings you looked at, and the books you read. That was you. That don't matter anymore. That is really sad.
So sad.
That's really sad.
What do you think your role is in society as an artist?
Be consistent, I think, has been a definite role of the Levellers, is to try to be consistent in an ever-changing world. It is quite confusing. It's more so than ever. Our initial stakeout of what we stood by was always something you can stand by. Do you know what I mean? We believe in fairness, not total fairness, like real basic common sense fairness for everybody, basic common sense protection of the world around us and everything on it and in it, and anti any form of tyranny and abuse of power. That's it, really, and that hasn't changed. Yeah. It's that basic. Be a good human. Be a really good human.
I thought if you're in a band, you just had to care about people loving you, Mark.
No.
And thinking you're great.
No. Yeah, that's a byproduct, and not necessarily a nice one, to be honest.
I bet.
No, it's not. It's like, especially when you start out, and then it's like, then that does happen. Mm-hmm. Can get under your skin a bit in ways you wouldn't expect. Mm-hmm. But essentially, that's it. That's our role, and it's we after 30 years have consistently managed to maintain that amongst ourselves through all kinds of ups and downs. And we managed to maintain that because those truisms will always be the case. Do you know what I mean? They're not going anywhere, unfortunately. We've tried our best to sort of like make the world a better place. And people know that. They trust us with that. It's like, occasionally we mess it up. People come and say, did you know that this was sponsored by blah, blah, blah?
Oh,
it's
no.
Like, no, we weren't. We weren't aware. But, that happens.
Yeah, of course.
It's a big world.
I've got a question Robin Ince wanted to ask you, which is relevant to where we are in this conversation now.
Okay.
I'm going to play it to you on my phone.
Okay, lovely.
What flavour vape have you got today?
British tobacco.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
You go for bubble gum or sweets or something.
Unicorn. No.
Unicorn farts. Right, where is it? Here.
Hello, Mark. Oh, by the way, can I just say Beautiful Days was my favourite festival this summer as well. It was magnificent. Is there any point where you've written a song and you performed it for a while and then you've looked at it suddenly and you thought, hang on, that is not what I really wanted to say? That might be it might be politically or socially or emotionally. There's a moment where you sometimes look and you think, no, that's not what I meant to say at all. I meant to say something else. And you suddenly just fall out of love with it.
Oh, that's interesting. That is a really good question. And the answer is probably no. If I meant at the time, like I said, the basic premises of the band is immutable, essentially. And if I think I might not have said it completely correctly, I'll just write another song. Mm. And that'll actually get that area of that particular subject more clear, emotionally, you know. And these songs are emotional. They're not about they're not polemic. You know, they are emotion. That's our emotional reaction and other people's emotional reaction to the world. So if I haven't quite expressed something enough, bitter alienation, then we'll write another slightly more bitterly alienated song about the subject in hand. But generally speaking, no, never.
That's really good.
Never. I don't think we've ever got it wrong. I think we might have the odd line here and there that might be a little bit sixth formy. A little bit ranty, but you know, we weren't far out of sixth form when we wrote it. So,
there you go.
You know what I mean?
There are definitely bands who have used really problematic language in the past. And some of my favourite bands, and I won't say the words, but you just kind of listen, go and wince and go, oh, I really wish you just hadn't used that one word.
Yes, we've always been really careful on the lyrics, like to police them so they stand the test of time. Yeah, we've always done that. Really, like, who knows what the future holds? But you know, to make things really specific about it, sometimes an historical event, that's fine, right? But some things that, you know, we go, in a few years' time, that might not mean anything, man. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Also, if you're not the kinds of people who would reduce groups of people to one awful word, then you're not going to be putting any song, are you?
No, exactly. So
you're safe.
You're safe. I think if we were to go through it all with a microscope, I think 99.9% of it would be okay.
Stay with me, kind listener. This is not an ad. Just a short pause to say a massive thank you to all 512 members of my Correspondence Club, the member-fueled motor behind my indie rock solo project, Penfriend. We're all facing uncertain times, so I've created a choice of free and affordable paid monthly tiers to suit every budget. And in return, I'm giving members access to tons of fun perks, from free music to enamel badges to online gigs, a secret podcast, and most excitingly, a friendly forum. I wanted to create a safer, more enjoyable online space, and so far it's been blowing my mind how much fun it is to hang out in there. You'd be very welcome to join us. Visit penfriend.rocks for more. Now we return to my conversation with Mark and another nosy question from Mr. Robin Ince.
Hello again, Mark. It's Robin asking a second question. It's ridiculous, but I saw you the first time, it must be 1990 or something like that, and then I loved you so much that I went to see you in Opera on the Green, which was a venue in Shepherd's Bush Shopping Centre, often used actually as a location for The Bill when they did something about drug dealers or whatever. And it was just amazing that I'd seen you in a really full room, and it was quite a sparse room, and you still did an amazing show. But do you have any memory of those kind of gigs, like Opera on the Green, where you go, there's not many in, but we're still going to have to go for it?
It's right. It's brilliant. And do you know who we were playing with?
Who?
Right Said Fred. Yeah.
Wow. What a bill.
Yeah. They supported us. It was just, I don't know why. It was one of the first ever gigs we had in London. So I was like, okay, that'll do. And, you know, we saw the Shepherd's Bush over in the corner. I was like, oh, one day, we'll be in there. Yeah. And I can't, who supported who? But we were on the same bill as Right Said Fred. And I'm Too Sexy for My Shirt became a hit shortly after that. Wow. And Deeply Dippy. And I was watching, I was going, they're really good. Yeah. We've got to play really well tonight, boys, because they are actually quite entertaining. Yeah. You know, and they're good. They're really good. I think they just had like tape and a guitar, and he was just a total showman. I was like, that's great. And it's like, the audience, I don't care how many people are in the audience, to be honest, because it's actually often more fun to win over an audience than it is. I mean, we still do it occasionally. You know, we go to some part of somewhere in Europe, and there's like not enough people in there, and it's a bit so we'll go out there and give it to them.
Well, they're the ones who came to the gig.
They're the ones who
get the reward, surely.
They're the ones who get the reward. And I do a lot of shows on my own as well, and I really like bringing people into it, what I'm doing. Really. You know, I went out with humour more often than not, just to come on, let's have a listen. Yeah. These are just songs, but they're good songs. Come on. You can get into these.
There's a real power to that feeling.
Yeah.
So what makes a good gig for you?
It is that. It is when you know you've got them and they're totally and utterly into this, whatever you're doing. And you're in, and because the band are only as good as the audience are, to be honest. We can fake it, right? And we have been known to fake it sometimes, and it's awful. And it's a really dispiriting feeling. It's like, yeah, we're just faking this. And that can happen at a sellout gig. Sometimes we're just tired. Everyone's like, you know what, we've had enough of this. But we know all the moves, we know all the words.
And the audience wouldn't know, I don't
think. They
think.
probably would.
To some extent.
Some do.
Oh, really?
Some do. They fake that.
I just mean, I think that bands can feel like they've done, say, a bad show, but actually their base level is really great. And then, of course, it can be better than that.
Yeah.
It's like if you've got a cold or something.
I think we have a high base level.
Yeah.
I think we really do. We really do. And it's getting higher as well, because we really expect ourselves to play particularly well musically. Before, it was more about the energy, because we had youth on our side, so it was running about and bouncing around and stuff. Yeah. But that's not there's a degree of that, but there's no...
There's a lot of jumping still.
Yeah, there's a lot of jumping and running about.
You love a light show, don't you?
Yeah, we like a light show. And we like... But musically, the energy has to come, and the energy has to be done with musical precision. That's what we're getting off on at the moment, is real musical precision, playing with each other and really knocking out the park in a way that we didn't think we could. You know, so that's what we're enjoying.
Yeah, so mastery.
Yeah, enjoying mastery and real conviction, like come on, look at what listen to this bit, listen to what we're telling you here. This is you. You know, and then, directly looking them in the eyes and pointing at them.
Well, because what would be the point of having songs that are about actual real things like we're talking about, and going out of your home and leaving your family behind for the night or for however many weeks to go and expecting all these people to come into a room with you and then just phoning it in? What would be the point? Right?
Yeah, exactly. And I see a lot of people do that. I do go to a lot of gigs where people might as well phoned in. Do you know what I mean? So why did you bother showing up, man? Yeah, wow, that was just an exercise in nothing. Yeah, I hate that. I do hate that. Most gigs, to be honest, and most gigs, particularly small levels, are brilliant. Most gigs, most bands are brilliant. You know, the bands I go and see locally, I just love them. And it's like, okay, they're going to kick it out here, and they do. Love that.
Well, it's nice to hear that. Well, you're supporting local bands, but also supporting other artists has been a massive part of the Levelers' career. Yeah. So putting people like Frank Turner, Snow Patrol, I was on tour with you. It's very nice. Yeah. So was that something you decided to do at a certain point? Yeah, absolutely.
No, totally. It's just all about that as much as possible.
So what do you guys get out of that then?
Just a lot of pleasure. It's really good, isn't it? You know, it's like some artists we love and respect and go, wow, that's proper music. That needs to be heard. That, simple as that, you know.
It's a very generous thing. I think it should be something that all artists do, but they definitely don't. So it is generous of you.
We did one buy-on in our entire career, and we swore we'd never do it again. Which is, I don't know if people know what that is, but it's like when a record company comes along and offers you a lot of money to have an artist support you. And as it turned out, the artist was good, and they were really nice people, but it's not what we wanted. It's not what we wanted. And we've had some bands come play with us that, haven't gone down well with the audience, but we've loved it. We don't care. Yeah. We've enjoyed it. Yeah. And we know that they should. Yeah. They should pay more attention. You can't predict that, really. You can't predict that. And that's a brilliant thing about artists. You cannot predict what they're going to love. You really can't. And it's like, with the level as they expect... Oh, it'd be great if the band goes diddly diddly dee, diddly diddly dee. I hate tanks and I hate guns. Diddly diddly dee, diddly diddly dee. And that's our least favourite kind of music. It's our least favourite kind of music. That's just that's
drinking songs with a violin on.
And it's just not great for me. It's an element to the band.
Yeah, of course.
But it's only one.
Yeah.
And it's a fun element, but there's millions of other elements to the band.
So what makes a bad gig?
What makes a bad gig is a bad performance from the band. Yeah, a bad performance from the band. But that doesn't happen so much anymore. It really doesn't. A bad gig, just sometimes they just don't happen. Do you know what I mean? The magic just doesn't quite happen for whatever reason. It's impossible. You can't put your finger on it. Not the audience. It's not the venue. It's not the gig. It's not the sound. Sometimes you just going, why didn't that just happen?
Yeah.
But then you'll walk off from that one and someone will go up to you, that's the best I've ever seen you play. That's amazing. It's like, shut up.
That's the thing, isn't it? Because we all have our different perceptions.
Yeah, exactly.
And different
that's another thing I've learned to trust is other people's perceptions of things. It's not just your own. And the band, we stopped talking about it. We should get really excited and talk about each gig afterwards for like 3 or 4 years, 5 years, maybe, talk about it, analyse it and all that. And then we all began to realise everyone had a totally different experience of it. It's like, you loved it, I hated it.
One of the best pieces of advice I was ever given was when I was maybe 19. And I used to do this thing. If someone would say, that was a great show, well done. And I'd go, oh, no, it wasn't. And this is exactly why it wasn't. And I'd tell them all the things that had gone wrong.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I was just basically told, just take the compliment, say thank you. You don't have to believe it. Because what you're doing is you're robbing that person of their experience of that show.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not fair.
That's not cool, no.
Because it's not about me emoting my feelings in a particular way. It's about that person feeling their own, inspired by or enabled by what I'm putting out. So you can't take that away from someone.
No, absolutely. No.
So I haven't done it since then.
No, good. It's a good lesson. It's a really good lesson. I think I probably did the same thing as you. Yeah, that was a great gig. Well, No, I don't think I did. I don't think I ever did. I don't think my monitors were shit. Yeah. My monitors were dreadful, so therefore I had a really terrible gig.
Your monitors but you.
They don't even know what a monitor is. It's like, what's a monitor? Is that like a fish or something you keep in your pocket? Does it have some sort of lizard? You got a lizard. Your lizard was shit.
The hall monitor. The milk monitor.
The milk monitor was shit.
How important do you think it is for well-known bands to support younger ones or newer ones?
I think it's totally.
Do you think it's a responsibility?
I think it's a total responsibility. It's like apprenticeships, isn't it? Like that. So okay, you've got a business model that's worked for you. Just pass it on. Yeah, we've done it, and our business model has been passed on to many. Some made a really good go of it, some not so much. But yeah, it's like, just do it. The only other people who are going to help you out there are businessmen. They've got money to give away, and they're doing that less and less. They're doing that less and less. So you know what I mean. So artists have to support artists, definitely. I mean, I think they do as much as possible.
I think some people don't realise the power they have, because we all spend, or a lot of us spend time building up some sort of platform for our voices to be heard, whether that's digitally or live or whatever, but not really using them for anyone but ourselves, which I think is bad. Yeah,
absolutely. And there was a responsibility. It also comes with a lot of guilt, and it can also become, it's like, well, I have this power. You give me a CD and I will not listen to it.
Oh, right.
But you
can't support everyone.
You can't support everybody, and that's the deal. And it's like, but I will accept everyone else. I will do this, and I will, and I do, and I will listen to it. And in fact, I don't get back to them. It doesn't mean I don't like it. It's just I just literally haven't got the headspace for it at that particular juncture. And when it comes around, it generally does. It'll come from more than one angle for us as well. It's like if one person forces like. So have you heard so-and-so? And I go, I think they're really good.
Oh, it takes a few times.
You have to hear the name hit our dense consciousness. It's like, we should do something. Then it gets done. You know what I mean? Or someone's really passionate about it. We got to have this band. And some people don't want to be touched with this by a barge pole, which is also equally fine. It's like, the Levellers really like you. No. Yeah, they really want you to come and support them. No.
I found it really exciting. I remember where I was when I got a phone call offering me a gig with you guys. I think Worthing. Yeah. First one I did. So I did one, and then we did the tour later in the year. And I was in Old Street Station, and I was in the bit where sometimes you don't have phone signal, but I was Zach rang me, I think, and I was playing it cool, because I always try and play it cool. And inside I was like, And I put the phone down and I did a little dance in Old Street Station, like with my elbows out, and then just sort of went about my day. And it was really exciting. And I don't think my music fits with the Levelers per se, but it was just a really exciting
Well, no, it doesn't.
thing to do.
Well, we knew it would somehow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, but
it was a marvellous
It's the
experience.
outsider bit.
Yeah.
That fits.
The
Yeah.
weirdo.
Yeah, no.
She's weird. Let's get her along. Thinking about the person versus the persona.
Yeah.
And thinking about persona as something that everyone has to adopt to do different things, whether you're an artist or not. Who is at home Mark, and how does he compare to on stage Mark, and how do you balance those?
Yeah, that's a disaster. It really is, yeah. That's probably the biggest disaster of my life. Yeah. Those two do not balance. Completely different people. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I am consistently the same person, but essentially, that is really hard. Mm-hmm. That is really, really hard. It's a difficult thing. But I've gotten better at it as the years have gone on, to be honest. But it used to take like 2 weeks of decompression to actually realise that what home was, you know. Yeah, it's difficult. But I'm consistently the same person all the time. I think most people would agree with that. But yeah, the two sides of the coin are odd.
There's a lot that needs to go into even getting on a stage sometime. Not to say that it's so much harder than any other real job in the world or anything, but there's a lot of mental preparation, emotional preparation.
No, exactly. And there's a space, a mental space. There's a person I have to be to get on the stage, and that's somebody who isn't the same person has to put the bins out, you know.
Yeah.
Simple as that. There has to be some form of self-belief there and delusion even to get out there, and that person has to live in that universe a bit, and that person doesn't belong in this house.
Is that person allowed in this house?
That person's not really allowed in this house. Yeah, exactly.
No.
And that's fair enough, and that's correct. And that's what took me some time to learn. I think it probably takes a lot of people that time to learn.
I find it hard. But, I remember I was on a tour once where I was playing bass with somebody else, and I actually had a tech, and it's the only time I've ever had a tech. And then I came home and I went to do a covers gig with my covers band at someone's wedding, and I forgot to tune my bass. Just forgot. Yeah. And I'd only had that tech for like 2 weeks. I didn't think I was a rock star. I wasn't even playing my own music. I just forgot.
Yeah.
And and if you've been away and people are helping you, well, they're paid to help you all the time. You come home and you forget to make tea or whatever. How do you do it? And
exactly.
Because it's so easy to get into that mode of someone's going to do that for me. It really
is. It's not so difficult nowadays. But back in the day, it was like, I just come back, come on, world revolve around me.
Yeah.
Do everything, do my bidding. And it just, it's so weird.
It doesn't, does it? And that's not very nice.
It's pathetic, really. But but it is. And it's when you recognise how pathetic it is, then suddenly it becomes a lot easier. Yeah.
How do you feel about it now?
Touring? It's great. The highlight of the day has been on stage. There were points in the band's career when that wasn't the highlight of the day. No, that was just an inconvenience. It's like getting in the way of all the fun we were having, which was ridiculous.
Yes.
But that's just a mindset. It wasn't. That was just a stupid mindset.
But it is a tricky thing. So there is that. How long's your set now?
The level is probably about an hour and a half.
Okay. So out of a 24-hour day, 1.5 hours is the bit you're there for. Yeah. There's travelling, there's sitting around, there's trying to make sure you eat, there's trying to get ready. Yeah. That's hard to manage. How have you managed that over the years?
Over the years it's changed, but these days I do a lot of walking.
Okay.
A lot of walking. I really like it. I've been going to towns I've been going to for years. I'm seeing bits of them I haven't seen before. Because I used to go to the pub and sit in the pub all day. I don't do that anymore. So I just get and walk. Go look around, see things, do different things in the town, which is nice. I like that. It's good. And it's like, and you've been doing it for 31 years. You get some venues you've been to so many times, you've forgotten how many. Yeah. And I know. So I come out of this bus and I go, right, this time I'm going to go left. That's how interesting my life is. And I go left and see what's there. But towns are full of like musicians and actors and comedians walking around. Yeah. Every town is.
Passing time till the
gig. Looking sort of innocuous, sort of like just bumbling around. Yeah. And it's quite funny. I get a lot of fun from that, thinking it's not just me.
No, of course not.
You know, what I find amazing is I don't bump into them more. Do you know what I mean?
All the solo lunches.
Solo lunches,
waiting
solo
for their gig.
lunches, and solo people doing whatever it is in that town. You know,
Yeah.
You know, a lot of stand-ups, a lot of. You know, there must be about. You know, there's a lot of
There should be a meeting place, shouldn't there?
There should be. There should be like a special help centre
For the entertainers.
Yeah, a little help place. It is an extraordinary thing. It is. After 31 years of doing it, it still blows my mind. At times, I'm like, yeah, wow, this is strange. You know, this is actually happening. I'm doing it. It's great. You know, we played at the London Palladium where I went to my first ever gig. We played there recently, and it was like, okay, I saw like it was like a Sunday variety show, and magicians and things, and like dancers in like. Glitter and stuff. It was like, wow. And Bert Whedon, the guitar player, I don't know if you know who he is. If you learned to play the guitar in the 70s, you had his book. It was it. Bert Whedon's Play in a Day book, right? And he was playing. And he's just him with like a Gretsch and an amp and a suit and a DA. Going down, 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 and playing Apache and stuff like that. It was great. Just a guitar. You don't just singing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, brilliant.
Okay.
And he claimed to be the world's fastest guitar player.
Okay.
Right, and he's in the Guinness Book of Records. He was up to that point for doing the world's fastest guitar solo, except it's one note. Yeah, one note. Oh yeah, brilliant. Let's see, he was playing. He did do the world record as well there while I was there. But it's brilliant to go on the same stage. So things like that, stuff like that, like box ticking gigs.
That is cool, isn't it?
I mean, it's a lot of those. You know, when you've been around for as long as we have, it's a good thing. It's like it keeps us interested, keeps us alive.
How do you go from headlining Glastonbury in 1994 and then playing the next show? What was the next show after that?
Right, yeah. Well, that's just a weird one. That is
managing that kind of extreme. Is important.
It is, and it was extreme. It was a real extreme.
Because you had the most people who'd ever come to the Pyramid stage, right?
That's right. Yeah, we played just zillions and zillions of people, and. That weekend, we flew, after the gig, we went to Heathrow and flew to New Orleans to play to 2 people.
Are you joking?
No.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, literally. Egos! That sorted that out.
Goodness me.
Sorted that out.
Do you think that's the best thing that could have happened, really?
Very quickly. Oh, yeah. Like, actually, in a strange way, yeah, it did. It was like, wow.
What did it feel like, though?
It was just very surreal. You know, we were in America anyway, so it was like that. So it was cool. We were in New Orleans. That's pretty damn cool in itself.
Yeah,
but the fact there was no one there to see us was odd, and we were disappointed because we were promised the world, obviously. But you know, that's the music business. They promise you the world and they deliver you a tin cup. You know, it's the truth.
Yeah.
You know, it always is. It has been. You know, those people that make it great, brilliant. Good luck to them. But it doesn't always like that. And it's like. We had a proper Artie Fufkin moment. Kick my sorry ass. It was like, come here, Artie, I'm going to kick your sorry ass, mate. What's this all about? Why isn't there anybody here? Wow. Oh, there will be. We ended up playing like support to a titty show in Vegas, the same tour. You know what I mean? It's like, this is
so it wasn't all bad then.
It's ridiculous being threatened by the mafia because we said we wouldn't go on. We said we wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So we're not doing that.
No.
It goes against everything we stand for.
Yeah.
He's gone, I know Frank. We go, what Frank Sinatra? He was alive at that point. We were like going, well, so?
Yeah.
Frank's going to be really upset. But as it turned out, we knew Bob Kowalkiewicz, who was actually much higher up in the mafia than he was.
Really?
Well, our record company guy did, and they sorted it all out, and they paid us handsomely.
Wow, well done.
Yeah, without doing a gig.
That's perfect. Is that the best gig?
That's kind of the best gig, yeah. But that's the thing. You know, but every gig's a gig, isn't it? Yeah, you don't know what's around the corner. It can be. I don't care because I love it, right? Some members of the band can get a little bit more worn down by it, you know, but I'm always up for it, really, generally speaking. I can get on that stage.
I feel the same as you do, but it's always interesting. So I played a sold-out show at the Lexington recently on a tour, which was amazing. And it wasn't even just that it was sold out. That's nice. But went in and I felt like I couldn't do anything wrong. Like they were so with me from the very beginning.
Right.
It was incredible. It was like walking on air.
Brilliant.
And I don't get that very often. It was wonderful. I really enjoyed every moment of it.
That. It's good.
Thank you. The next day, I played somewhere else, which I won't say where it was. I think it was quite a small venue. That's fine. I don't care how many people are there. Like you say, they're the ones who came. That they get the great show. Monitors were terrible. Everyone was really, really drunk and really rowdy. It was a festival, so people were popping in and out. And it was just the worst.
Just nothing.
It couldn't have been
nothing.
more opposite experience. And the whole time I just thought, I wasn't spending the time going, I deserve everyone to love me. I was just going, well, that's what gigs are. Gigs aren't normally like yesterday, but they're just like the treat. And then you go back to winning people over and doing your thing and surviving, basically.
Yeah, as long as you're either comfortable up there or you're not. Yeah. That's it.
So who do you think your audience are? Or you know them quite well by now.
Do you know what? I think they're really, 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 really basically really honest, up for it people that think that what we say is true and get it. And they get it, what we say is true. They go, that's totally identifiable with. I understand that. That's our lives. That's my life. And these boys are singing my life. That's how we see the world. That's how we feel about things. We'd like that to improve. We'd like this to be better. I think that's it. And there might be an element of freedom there that might not exist in their lives. But I don't know anymore because we're not really rock stars. You know what I mean? As a band, we're not. We might have been once, but we're not anymore. You know what I mean? So that's hard to evaluate where they put us in that respect. I think they think it's as friends, to be honest.
I'd say so. From how I've seen people talking to you at shows,
and we do talk to our audience a lot. We see them about, we'll talk. It's fine. Conversations can be had. Yeah, all the time. Sometimes not always because you haven't got the headspace for it. But
yeah, of course. Have you found any change with the internet? People, Facebook groups, people feeling like they have more access or more rights to access to friendships with you and things like that in a bad way?
No, because we've dealt with that quite well by keeping that at an arm's length from very much the beginning. Is that occasionally I'll direct message somebody if they're asking me a direct question about something that's just factual. But I won't express opinions and things like that on it because that can get really messy. And I think people expect us to do sometimes, but it's like, no, actually, no. This is your forums. This is forums. And we don't want to be vocalising them because they're your forums. They're not ours. Yeah. If I wanted a rant forum, I'd set one up.
Well, quite, yeah.
My Twitter, I might talk about things that I care about, but they're not. They're statements of opinion rather than let's have a debate about this. Yeah.
I'm exactly the same. So if someone comes back with an angry thing, I just think, well, why are you that bothered? Like, just said what I thought.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a weird thing. That's a new thing. And I'm not sure how useful it is, to be honest. It's like shouting into a puddle as far as I'm concerned, really. But
yeah. Well, it had so much power, especially for me, growing my audience over the last 10 years. It's been really, really key for me. Right. But it's massively changed in the last few years. And I wouldn't want to write it off. But I've just got to the point in my life where I don't want to spend a lot of time on my phone. No. Because I'm being encouraged to do so by massive companies that want me to increase their share prices, essentially, by me being stuck to it. And it makes me feel sad and lonely and all the bad things.
I think we might be seeing that actually have peaked.
I hope so.
I think that might have peaked a bit. I think the young people who are coming up aren't so interested in it. If they've got other things going on, hopefully, they're realising that that's just staring at a phone. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, these people that are born digital aren't so much fooled by digital. And people like myself, I was like, yeah, okay. Well, I haven't looked at my Facebook for years. It's used and it's monitored by people for me, but I don't look at it. I spend all day doing it. If I did, I was, and I was like, God, I'm wasting so much of my time here. Yeah. Twitter, I can pick up and do put it down. Yes, it's gone.
Well, it's designed to be addictive. That's the whole point, isn't it?
Oh no, it gives you an instant little endorphin hit.
Yeah. It's really dangerous.
It's the task ticking hit. I've achieved a small task, and you do release little bubbles of happiness into your brain, and that's it. Oh, I've done something. Yeah. You haven't.
No, you haven't done anything. I've been reading some really interesting books about that stuff lately. Yeah. Just about Especially as a creative person, because it's scary to do creative things. It's scary to try and write a song to whatever, to sit down and do it. Once I start, I love it.
Yeah.
I love every moment of it. I'm kicking myself as to why it took me 3 hours to get up to my studio. Like, why did I check my emails first? But it's like you say, your brain needs something it can do and tick off.
Yeah.
I mean, the only time I will ever clean is when I'm putting off trying to write a song.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and there's nothing scarier in the world for an artist is a blank page. There's nothing scarier. It's the most terrifying thing. Just go up to any artist and go, blank page.
Be amazing now. Go.
Yeah, go. Okay. Can I go and clean the house first? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it's good to hear that everyone has that fear, because I think what I hope for this podcast is that artists will listen, and people who aren't artists but want to be more creative or more true to themselves will listen and go, oh, the people I look up to find this stuff hard. It is hard.
It is really
but it doesn't
hard.
mean you can't do it.
It's really, really hard. I mean, I remember I was talking to the first guy who was in the original kernel of the Levellers, and I sat down with him, and he was like, he never made it to even the first gig, but like talking about songwriting, and I was going, well, so, how do you do it then? And I was going, well, I said, you start playing the guitar, and you start look into the sky and you start writing. Just things come into your head and write them down. Mm-hmm. And then look down and go, is that a song or not? And it's like, oh, sounds really easy. It's like, oh God, you try it then. Didn't work. But it's fun. It is like looking at the sky and just going, go, right, whatever's coming to your head.
I feel like most of the writing happens before you're even in that situation.
Composting.
Like all the living. Composting.
Yeah.
My friend was using that word recently.
Yeah. See, this is
That's
what it's all
a thing.
about. That's a real thing, yeah. It's a
Composting.
It's a real thing.
So how would you describe composting?
Composting is like you've got a basic clue or an idea of something you want to write about, and you might sort of like dally around the subject a lot, like really get into the subject or a bit around the subject, and then don't write about it, leave it there, let it in the back of your mind, it'll compost and it'll come down, filter down, all the worst bits will rot away and the best bits will come out of solid nutrient of what it is that you're actually trying to get out and actually say. And it's good. It's a really good. But on subjects, it's a really good way. Difficult, thorny ones particularly. Thorny ones, you're thinking, God, I really want to write about this, but it's tricky. Yeah.
Then another thing I was taught by my English teacher at school. I didn't listen to it at the time, but later I remembered she'd said it, and so thank you to that teacher. Sorry, I was a bit of a idiot at the time, but she said writing is editing. So I would always start writing an English essay and I'd hate the first sentence and I'd give up. And she was like, well, that's really not how this works.
Yeah, you've edited yourself out of the argument.
So writing is editing. So let it compost and then write the things, but don't expect it to come out perfectly and brilliantly.
No, exactly.
In the first
writing
place.
is all editing. It's all editing. That's the first thing you write. It's like, if I really want to write a subject out, I'll write loads of things about that subject. Out. Loads of it. None of it will end up in the final song. None of it.
No.
Not one bit of that will end up in the final song, but all the ideas behind it will be in that song. But none of the actual cool words. That goes really well together. That's cool. That says exactly what I want to say there. Chances of making it in the final song, 0 often.
That's part of the crafting of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the fun part.
I've started doing that part on typewriters lately. It's really fun because the speed of typing and thinking is different than if you're typing on a computer or writing it down. Okay. I really like the speed.
Well, I like with my. It's just a mess. No one can tell what I've done. If you walked into a studio after Mark's been there writing, you think you need some sort of like hieroglyphic interpreter because it's everywhere. It's written on everything. Okay. It's on scraps of paper, bits of paper, half across from one bit of paper to another. Just mad. And it's like, but it makes total sense to me. I know where it all is, and I know where the bits are, and then I can start singing it, looking down at this jungle and know where the bits are, which ones are the verses, which ones are the choruses, and then hopefully articulate that enough for me to write it down afterwards. Yeah. And go, okay, that's the song. That's it. Picked up out of that morass there. Hopefully.
Do you like jigsaw puzzles?
No.
You don't?
No. I probably like making them, but I probably don't like putting them together.
Just make it, cut into pieces, throw away.
No, don't like that. No.
That's all. I've always wanted to ask Mark Chadwick, do you like jigsaw puzzles?
A firm no.
A firm no for that. All right.
I can find the corners, that's about it.
Well, that's the start. Well, isn't that a great metaphor for songwriting?
Yeah, well, it really is, actually.
How wise you are.
Genius.
If anyone's listening who's never heard the Levellers,
what
3 songs would you recommend they get started with?
Oh, blimey, really? Carry Me, Generation Fear, and One Way.
Excellent songs. Do you have goals outside the Levelers now and outside your music? Do you have other things you want to achieve in life to have a rounded life that's not just that stage thing?
I'd love that. To have a rounded, brilliant life. Just that. Just that. Straight and simple.
What a good goal.
What an achievable goal. That's it, though. Literally that. But that's more to do with mental well-being and everything that goes with that. You know, at the moment, I just want to achieve a well-trained puppy.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
That's a really good concrete goal to aim for.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah, simple as that.
She's already beautiful.
Yeah, she is gorgeous, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this has been such a wonderful conversation.
Jolly good.
I feel like every time we spoke on tour, we kind of slightly got into these things. So this was really fun.
Quite natural,
to delve a bit deeper. So thanks so much for giving me your time.
No, absolute pleasure. Good luck. It's good.
The Levelers' brilliant new album, Peace, is available to pre-order right now. I think what they're doing is so important and so needed. Plus, the songs are always great. Massive thanks to Mark for agreeing to have this conversation with me back when Attention Engineer was just a figment of my imagination. I make this podcast and all the featured music myself. Remember, you can get podcast extras and support future episodes, as well as getting access to loads of musical freebies and my friendly forum of like-minded music fans by visiting my website. In fact, I've made a special page for this episode, and Mark has kindly handwritten a note for you, so head over to penfriend.rocks/Mark for some extra treats. Two of the highlights of my musical career so far were singing This Garden on stage with the Levelers on tour, and then being invited to duet with Mark on a song called Drug Bust McGee on their 2018 album We the Collective. Mark has also duetted on a song of mine, so if you'd like to listen to those, visit penfriend.rocks/Mark. Episode 3 of Attention Engineer is available now, featuring a fun and inspiring chat with Aisha Hassan from Savages. Please subscribe to the show so you won't miss the next episode, and I look forward to bringing you more great conversations with great people. Thanks so much for listening. Bye for now.